All right, y'all, we back to do a random topic. We're not going to talk no soccer this week. We bring it back. We brought back the homie Tony.
What's good?
And
What's good?
what's good, bro?
Can't call it. How y'all boys doing?
Good, man. No complaints.
Blessed and highly favored is what I always say.
I hear you. I hear you.
That's how it is.
Yo, that's what's up. That's what's up. So today's topic is going to be on the NBA. We're going to talk hoops. We all hoop fans for the most part. Dre's suspect nowadays, but yeah, we hoop fans.
I'm a casual.
Yeah, so yeah, he's a casual. But we all massive hoop fans, and we love hoops and whatnot. So we're gonna talk hoops. I know a lot of our audience likes hoops. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do our top 5 snubs of the top 75 list that came out. Everybody knows about that list. If you don't know about that list, go look a list up before you listen to this. You have to go through the whole list. But we just going to talk about individual players. And like the ones that got snubbed. Now, if you got one that someone takes, then obviously you can put your input. We're all gonna put our input on all the picks. But if we have duplicates, that makes sense because we should.
Yeah.
We can start off, do the snake draft way. Anybody can start off. Dre, you want to start off?
Yeah, I'll start off since we were talking about him earlier. Anyway, I'm gonna say Tony Parker. I'm going to still continue to support Tony Parker being on this list. And I think the biggest things are obviously the rings. Tony made a great point before, the finals MVP. Like, there's a lot of people on this list that deserve to be on this list that don't have that on their resume. So it's like, it's just one of those things that stands out. Like you were the best player in the finals and won a championship. Like it's a big deal. And he helped them win those 4 championships. You can say Tim Duncan was huge. He had a huge impact on those, but I don't think they win in it without Parker's contributions. Like he had times where he dominated the games, and he showed before the 3-point age that you can dominate the game as a point guard by driving to the paint and then eventually hitting mid-range shots. And yeah, he had a nice floater that Drew alluded to. It's ridiculous. Like, and that's just another aspect of the mid-range game that you're seeing with like DeRozan and other players. Like, if you can dominate in that mid-range game, you can't get double teamed. They can't bring help. Like, it's a scary part of the game, and it's underappreciated. But yeah, that's my take on Tony Parker, man. I mean, I think he deserved to be on the list.
Another reason why Tony Parker should be on the list over a couple of guys that are on the list. I ain't gonna get into their names right now, but there's a couple of point guards that shouldn't be above Tony Parker. And one of the reasons is you watch the Spurs actually change their system. So they started out with the Twin Towers and playing down in the paint game, and Tim dominated for many, many years. Obviously, we had a number for the most part, the Lake Show, but they had their shine here and there a couple years. Never no back-to-backs or 3-peats, but
hater, man.
They changed their system. You can tell who the Laker fan, who the Spurs fan, but they changed their whole system. You watch Pop change from throw that ball down to the post, play through Tim Duncan, to we're gonna play high pick and roll basketball, spread the floor with Parker and Ginobili coming off the bench. Yeah. They completely changed their whole system. So and they were still able to win. So Tony Parker obviously he should be on that list over a couple of point guards. Simply because the man was productive. He just didn't dominate the ball because he played with other great players. That shouldn't take away from his greatness. He definitely could have been a number 1 guy.
100% agree. 100% agree.
Lost games like a lot of these dudes that's out there shining on bad teams.
Yeah,
that make you a great player.
And y'all leaving out the most important point. This man was married to Eva Longoria too.
See,
but the way
I knew when he said something yesterday that's what this man was going to talk about. I knew it.
Hey, that alone puts him on the 75 list. What we talking about?
Hey man, I don't know. The end result was So
it wasn't favorable. Didn't she leave him right after he got the Finals MVP?
There was a whole lot of trifling going on tonight. From what I so
yeah, wasn't there a Brent Berry situation going on with that?
be careful. Be
Yeah,
careful.
I've said too much already. I think.
Yeah, you have. I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on with that.
I
I
could
ain't
have
heard that.
sworn. I
Oh
could have sworn there was a
So,
Brent Berry issue.
rumors,
Yeah.
teammates, and things like yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, look, they still got 4.
Some fouls.
Exactly.
Going on, like
They got 4.
They still got 4.
Yeah,
and that's 4. That's 4 more than some people on this list, which is what's great.
She was in wasn't she in like a super popular show at the time too?
Desperate Housewives. Desperate Housewives.
That's what I think it was.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm gonna say that or something. I don't know. I will sound like an idiot, but yeah, really popular ass show. She was in that joint, so she was heat that day. But we all know that just because they hot don't mean you can contain them.
Thanks.
So it is what it is with Tony. But Tony, the biggest thing I would love about Tony was the floater. It's an underrated skill that enough point guards don't have. Cough Russ. Yeah, they need to put that in their bag because it'll change the game. You don't have to finish over bigs if you can just shoot floaters once you get in the paint.
Yep, you get there and help. And I think one of the main reasons well, obviously that's just in his skill set, but I think one of the main reasons he shot so many of those is because he was not the best free throw shooter. I'm gonna just leave it at that. I think career-wise he was like under 70 or something like that. And as a point guard, it's like, yikes, But yeah, that's one of those things he developed. He didn't really want to go to the line, so he shot floaters, and later on he developed that mid-range game. But just adapting to what his role was in the offense and produce it more than anything.
Yep,
sure.
Have it. So I can go to my number 5 right now. Probably gonna take one of yours, Tony. I gotta go with Tracy. We all know T-Mac was like one of the most skilled basketball players we ever seen, especially I think he was 6'8". This man was he was basically a carbon copy of a Kobe type player, 3-level scorer, finish at the basket, hit the mid range. Obviously had the 3-ball. His handle was crazy nasty. It's basically just injuries. It's why people don't want to give him his credit. But the man did play a long time, still, even with the injuries, and he played for multiple teams, and was a franchise player for multiple teams. Talking about Houston, Orlando. I think I'm missing another one. Raptor. I don't know if he was a franchise player on Raptor, but
nah, he was very young, but he was coming up.
Yeah.
What was that weird thing that he did that everybody remembers, like the 13 and like certain amount, 35 seconds? Yeah. That was impressive. I mean, he didn't make my list, but that's something that I'll always remember.
Right. I think you factor in how important he was to the league. I mean, he had a signature shoe that everybody was rocking.
Yeah, I had to look.
Like he was like the face of Adidas, at least Adidas hoops, for a number of years. So they ain't giving that to just anybody. They're not giving that to just. There's some people in here with Adidas contracts that their shoes ain't doing what T-Max is still doing, probably. So, but no, I definitely agree with you, Drew. You probably know this next piece that I'm about to say. If I remember correctly, Kobe said T-Mac was one of his toughest players to guard.
Yeah,
length, athleticism. I mean, like you said, almost kind of like a carbon copy of some of the stuff that Kobe would do with elite athleticism too. So,
he could do all this. He could do all the same thing Kobe did. He just taller. That drove Kobe crazy. You believe it, because they had some crazy battles and dropping buckets on each other. Like him, same way Gilbert used to give it to Kobe. And Kobe, like those Brandon Roy, all those dudes. Like T-Mac, one of those dudes. Like when the games before, I know Kobe was like super focused the night before. I was stressed out the day before. I'm like, they're gonna embarrass my dude, like and I know you're gonna get him back, like on some AI. You gotta see me at the other end of the floor. Type. I just didn't like people giving it to Kobe, knowing how great a defender he was, type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So, I love to see the battles though. So,
it came easy to him for sure.
So T-Mac made your list, Tony?
Actually, nah, he didn't. He was only reason that I didn't put him on there. And I mean, ain't no fault of his, but really the injuries.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a few people that you leave off of this list solely because of the injuries, but it's like the impact that they had when they played. You could definitely make the argument that he should have been top 75.
Yeah.
Especially against a few of these dudes that's on the list right now. I got some issues with some people that's on there right now.
Yeah, I kind of got that same mentality when I think about Brandon Roy. I'm like, give him a few more healthy years, he might have been cracking this list because he was performing, and he was performing like I think in a couple playoff series he was playing well too. So it's like,
yeah,
at that point, like he was great, but his knees gave out, boy. Oh man. But yeah, I was huge fan.
Like 25 plus for like 8 straight years, bro.
Who did?
McGrady, bro. Like,
yeah, he did, but I just feel like it never led to anything. But it is what it is.
Just because he was in Kobe era, we gonna punish the man. Like, and none of those shooting guards winning any rings during Kobe era. Like,
he was when he was averaging that. Was it mostly on the Magic?
Yeah, that was 32, 28.
But he didn't have to win the whole thing though. It's like, were they making the playoffs?
Yeah, bro. Remember he was playing with Houston too. Remember he had Yao Ming. He had a.
Okay, I remember the Yao Ming stuff.
Yeah, he got a few max deals on a couple of different teams.
Yeah,
but max for back then.
Maybe I overlooked him then because
Kobe just owned him in his prime, bro. Like in the playoffs, you know. So and LeBron. Because obviously LeBron is over there in the East. So like just because the man ain't win no rings, he wasn't supposed to win no rings. He was never better than Kobe. So he was never gonna beat Kobe.
That's fair.
So same thing with AI. AI was same thing. But we still give AI his credit.
Because he had some battles with the Lakers though. Almost took the Lakers out by himself.
And he owned one of the dudes on my list, but I haven't been to that yet.
He what?
he owned one of the dudes that's on my list. We'll talk about him later.
Okay.
We'll talk about him later. All right. That's all I had on McGrady.
Okay.
All right.
So me. I got one that's probably on everybody's list. I'm not going in no particular order. I'm just kind of rattling these off. But I mean, the most obvious one that came to me when the list came out was Dwight Howard. The fact that Dwight is not on that list, and again, we won't name names for the people that's on there now, but let me go ahead and just read off a couple of things. I'm not even gonna factor in that he does have a chip, because that should count for something. But let's see, 8-time NBA All-Star, 5-time All-NBA first team, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 3 consecutive years, first team All-Defense. 4 out of those 3 years. Got first team 1 year that he didn't win the Defensive Player of the Year. 5-time rebounding leader, led the NBA in blocks 2 times, face of a franchise. They went to the finals, right?
Yeah.
In Orlando?
Yeah.
He sent LeBron home before he lost to Kobe.
Right.
Great playoff run, man, with the Magic.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue most feared big man at the time in the league. I mean, for as limited as he was on the offensive end, without them putback dunks and everything, White dominated. He put the fear of God. And then when they readjust these heights a few years ago, we found out dude's 6'8", 6'9". He ain't 7 foot like we thought he was. So yeah, the White's on
broad shoulders though.
Right.
He's super broad.
Yeah, but he's got to make the list. If they got a honorable mention, 75.5, he got to be that 0.5. They need that man on the list.
Yeah, man, he's on my list, man. So was Tony Parker. So you already took 2 of them. And I would say this about with Dwight. The reason why Dwight is not on the list is because of politics and because of Shaq. There's a whole bunch of dudes in the league that was like, yo, this man is way bigger than everybody, way stronger than everybody. Just drop 30 and win, and take over. That was never Dwight's personality. That's never who he was.
Right.
And even if he was though, like, he can't get away with the same stuff Shaq used to get away with. You know what I mean? Even if he was
never big as Shaq either, though. You know?
Yeah.
So like, if he was as big as Shaq, he would be able to get away with this stuff to Shaq because you just can't do nothing about that's big. You can't say it's illegal to be that big. You know what I'm saying?
No, some of the stuff that Shaq used to do would be called as offensive fouls now, is what I'm saying.
Oh,
no, I mean, maybe so, yeah.
You don't think so? None of that? No? Okay.
Because, I mean, you still see players do it. Like, LeBron still does it, the bully ball. Like, that's still a thing. Like, if Shaq existed, especially Magic Shaq, he would be just like Zion. Like if you just bigger than the dude, like there's nothing you could do. Like Zion averages 25, average like 25 points a game, and he don't even have like the skill yet. Like he can finish, like he got the touch, but he don't even got the skill yet. He just dominate because he's just way bigger than everybody else.
Right.
You can't block his shot because he just body when he going up. Like, and he can just elevate over top of you. So Dwight was he just didn't have the skill. Like his hook shot was trash. Like, matter of fact, he was so trash he should do it with the left all the time because he was softer. He could get like a softer touch with the left because his right hand he just throws the rocks. It's like it's so hard. That's why he can't make free throws. He has no touch. You know.
Right.
So, but defensively, the man was a dominant force. I will say a couple of those defensive player of the years, in my opinion, were fraudulent because the man didn't do nothing but block shots and he didn't guard the perimeter. And eventually, over the years, that got exposed. But during the beginning of his career, most of his career, the throwing it down to the paint was the game. So you could get away with drop coverage, pick and rolls, just keeping it big in the paint all game. You can get away with it back.
Think too, they really didn't. I don't think they really started giving perimeter defenders all the love that they should have been getting until recently.
Yeah, because the game changed, right? Exactly.
They wasn't. Nobody cared that Dwight couldn't guard the pick and roll or guard the perimeter. Like he beating 3-4 shots a game every night.
Yeah, and that's how we exposed him. Years. Like, we just ran pick and roll. Kobe and Gasol just ran pick and roll. That's exactly how we exposed him.
Right.
Because Dwight don't want to guard out there, and he could never guard out there.
But like you said, the game changed. Now people shooting 30-footers. I mean, how many threes is we seeing per team average a game? I just read something today, like Donovan Mitchell, last like 6 games is shooting 14 threes a game. Like, come on now. Everybody was trying to get to the cup then. So the fact that you lead the league in blocks for 2 straight years and probably top 5 in blocks for maybe close to a decade, that's impressive.
It is because blocking shots is not all about height. We know that for sure because there's so many tall players in the NBA that just can't block shots. They'll either get fouls, they'll try to draw a charge. Like, it's a skill. So the fact that he was able to block, you need timing, you need good footwork. Like it's a skill. So it's one of those things that, but then in another sense, it's like, okay, you can't just give somebody defensive player of the year because they got the most steals either, because you can get 3 steals a game, but you can miss 7 steals that gave up 14 points. You know what I mean? Like, because when most of the time, if you go for a steal, you're selling out. You're like reading the passing lane.
Well, it's all ball.
So if you don't get it, like chances are you're getting scored on because you're in the NBA. So it's one of those things. Like when you look at defensive, like I really want to know.
Sure.
Like
AI used to play the passing lane.
AI used to lead the league.
And I would never say AI was a great defender. You know what I mean? Just because he could play passing lanes. Like that's not. I wouldn't consider him a great defender if he got a lot of steals, but he still gave up like 30 points for when he didn't get those steals. You know what I mean?
At least steals are a change of possession. Even blocks don't mean shit if they still score in that possession.
So I mean, if you block
it's not even a stop.
That's true.
Unless you block it and get the rebound, which rarely do bigs do that. They usually just.
But even with a big playing defense, though, even if you're not blocking shots, you alter shots.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So
that's for sure.
Those 3 or 4 blocks that he get in the game, you might have 5 or 6, 7 other shots that's contested.
Yeah, because after you get blocked once, you don't go up with the same shot again. You know what I mean?
No.
Like you get blocked once, you hesitate and you're pump faking and you're impacting the game defensively. Right. So you can't just say, okay, they didn't get the ball back, so it's not a good play. It's still a good play because the next shot they take, they're gonna think about it.
But even on top of that, though, Dre, Dwight leading the league in rebounds. So after he altered that shot, he pulling down that rebound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it might as well be a turnover. Hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, we I don't have to go into too much detail, but we know why just because you can block shots doesn't mean you're a good defender.
Right.
Gobert gets exposed every season. But
and it's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same thing about steals. It's the same thing about steals, though. You know, like both of the stats could be like, because if James Harden leads the league in steals, you're not going to tell me he's a good defender because he leads the league in steals. You know what I mean? I've seen multiple times with this man not playing defense and literally just letting people walk by him, and he just tries to strip the ball from behind. Like, that's not good defense. Like, you just got lucky because they lost the ball.
Yeah. I'm talking about basically bigs that only can defend one way. Like,
yeah,
to me, a great defender is a player that can play at all over the floor, can defend all. It's not something that can get exposed the same way Rudy Gobert gets exposed every year because they play this pack the paint, drop coverage all season. And then when they get into the playoffs, when teams start game planning, you can't do that garbage. It's going to get exposed. Yeah. So that doesn't make you a great defender. It just makes you a great shot blocker. And nobody's worried about Gobert's defense. Like, ain't nobody worried about it. We'll still go at him because for every single time, even if we go, and this is why the whole alternate shot also a lot of times doesn't matter, because when I go to the paint and I shoot a floater and you go to block it and maybe you alter it, whoever the big that you just left, it's got a layup now. So the defense has to rely on blocking shots. That's not a good defense. Sure. The best defenses, just like the Heat were, like with Bosch and them, the best defenses can switch out on the perimeter, can guard everybody, and don't have to overhelp. You can help and get back. You can help and get back, or you can switch, or you can rotate, or whatever. It's not you get blown by, oh, homie's behind me. You know, this is some same shit we used to try to do a couple years ago. Just because with Hibbert, just because that dude's behind, that don't mean nothing. Like, Hibbert ain't gonna do nothing about this floater or this dunk that he's about to get dunked on. Or even if he does get to the ball, he's leaving the center. Like the point guard or the backside rotation guy is not gonna be able to push that big ass center out of the way, bro. That basketball is over with. Like that whole game is over with. Like that, those dudes are gonna keep getting exposed until they have the ability to either hide it, which a lot of good coaches know how to hide it, or they got to learn how to move their feet on the perimeter.
For sure.
One or the other.
All right, well, Dwight came up at the right time then.
And he dominated, and Dwight's still effective. That's a good thing. The one great thing about Dwight is that he was a huge part of our championship year, especially when we had to guard Jokic, because there's still centers in the league that you have to guard with a big. Like, you can't, like Jokic, like Embiid, like he has the purpose. It's just rare that you have those bigs like that that can stay on the floor throughout the entire game. So those dudes are useful. It's just you got to use those guys in spurts. You know, they have 15 minutes, 10 minutes here, that type of stuff. That NBA is long gone until we get another big like Shaq that can completely dominate in the paint and make twos basically like layups. Then the value of shooting a three is still going to be more until we get that big like Embiid. Even Embiid wants to shoot on the outside. Like, most bigs don't want to play in the paint, but until we get that big that just wants to dominate in the paint and so dominant in the paint that you literally it's a two no matter what. Saying like just like with DeRozan in the mid range this year, once that dude comes back and there's more and more of those, then you'll see the game evolve a little bit more. But you know, it's a rare thing. You see bigs with skill like Shaq and Tim Duncan. You know, anybody can go. I already lost 2 of them, so I only got 2 left. Or 3. I only got 2 left.
New age. Drew got 2 left, and I'm not gonna say this next one on my list because I know he's gonna be on Drew's list.
Yeah. So, because I already brought him up. Yeah.
I already know. I don't think you brought him up, but I just know he's gonna be on your list.
All right.
So I'm gonna say this one, and I think it's because he needs more time. And there's another name that I thought up today too, but I'm gonna say this one, and I'm gonna say Jokic because I think he absolutely dominates games. He's like a walking triple-double at a center, and it's the way I'm gonna explain it is it's a productive triple-double because he don't chase down rebounds just to get his triple-double like Russell Westbrook. His rebounds come off positioning. His assists are relevant to the game and stuff like that. He's not like trying to stat pad. He's got probably one of the best touches for a big man I've ever seen. I mean, next to like maybe Dirk, somebody like that. And he can shoot the three. Like he's really got it all at a center position, and he's just going to continue to put up numbers. So yeah, that's one of mine.
One of the best passing bigs in the league. I don't know. I think for me, it's too early to be putting him on the list.
Well, no, I think
projecting him out.
Maybe not a complete snub, but I think he's not on the list because he's just got to put more time in, basically. Yeah. And that's it. That's it. So.
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, I think you could make an argument for it. I feel like it's probably a handful of realistic dudes that's not on the list right now that's still playing that you might be able to make an argument for. Because again, it's one or two people on that list that's still playing that don't need to be on that list right now.
Yeah.
But when that 100 list come out, Joker gonna be on there for sure. I
mean, yeah. That's what I thought of when I put him there. I was like, okay, maybe he didn't deserve to be in this top 75, but his time is coming with what he's doing. Because I mean, they're still a productive team, even with not having Murray in there for all the time he's been out. Like, they still getting wins like it's nothing. He's still putting up numbers.
Yeah. Hey, go ahead, Tony.
Okay. I still got three left. On the list. This next name I'm gonna throw out, I didn't watch him play, but I did some research and he kept popping up on these lists. So the one name, and again, I don't know much about the dude, but just based off the stuff that I read, Alex English. I know he got drafted late 70s, 76 or 77 or something like that. Had a pretty lengthy career. He's top 20 all-time scoring list, actually 20th, 25,000 plus points, 8-time All-Star, led the league in scoring in 1983, and was the leading scorer in the NBA, like total points throughout the decade of the 80s, right? Said first player in NBA history to score 2,000 points in 8 consecutive seasons. I mean, I think if you're basing it off of that, I don't think he has any chips. But clearly this list doesn't factor in winning. Winning is a priority. But I mean, if you're talking about somebody who could fill it up, put it in the bucket, top 20 scoring, I mean, it's hard. I feel like it's hard to leave people off of the list that's top 20. And how many people have ever played in the NBA?
Yeah, brings it up all the time. It's like 5,000, something like that.
Yeah. So
a whole lot of people, man.
You top 20. 25,000 points is a lot of points. It's a lot of points. So if I'm just looking at those numbers, right? If I'm looking at it just from a stats perspective, I think he deserves to probably have a spot on that list.
Yeah.
When the 3-point line come? What year?
When did it come? Ooh,
yeah.
Man, that had to been. You got to be 80 something.
Yeah, it's 80 something.
87, maybe. I don't know.
Well, let's see. 3 years later,
79.
79.
79.
April. What just happened? 79.
79. Yeah.
Oh no. Okay. You talking about the new 3-point line?
Well, I mean, just when did the NBA start using the 3-point line?
Oh. I don't know. 79, 80. Okay.
So 79, 80. So let's think about it though.
It was a 1-year trial. Okay, hold on now. I don't believe that that's the truth. I think they did it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's the truth completely. Hold on. Yeah. So then 79, 80. I remember they took it away, then it came back.
Mm-hmm. So they did a 1-year trial on 79, 80.
Yep. And then started to rise. 1998, they moved the line back again. So they moved it up and then they moved it back.
Okay.
So I would say the best. Yeah, but they got it from all the way from the 80s to 2022. So we gonna call it 80s.
All right. So obviously you talk about how the game is, we just talked about it a little bit earlier, how the game is kind of changed over the course of the years. So these dudes, I could probably look it up, but these dudes weren't shooting a whole lot of threes.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Scoring 22,000 points or however many I said, 22,000 points in a decade, and you're not really using the 3-point line, you a bucket.
Yeah, you're getting loads of buckets.
Read a couple of little articles, like people was real upset that he got snubbed. And that's a tougher NBA, you could argue back then, right, in terms of the physicality.
Mm-hmm.
You could have that debate if you really wanted to. So, I didn't watch the man play, but based off of reading, give him a spot.
Tony did his homework. I'm down.
I was trying to bring something that I didn't think nobody else was going.
Yeah, the stats and everything.
What's his nickname?
They backed that man up. Like,
what's his nickname?
Yeah, he had a nickname on that. I really like.
I'm not sure.
I think they would talk about him and him.
Oh, they called him Flick.
They called him what?
Flick. I think.
Alex English.
Oh, maybe they didn't. I don't know what I'm reading. Hold
on. He had a good nickname. I can't remember what it is, but anyway. 6'8" dudes, man, like at that time, like with the skill set, it's just like I ain't see the man play like that either. I would have, if I was me, I thought he was gonna go with Bernard.
Bernard was close. Bernard was close.
I thought he was going with Black Jesus, man.
Yeah, Bernard was real close.
Yeah. I knew you were gonna do a classic though. I ain't giving them classic dudes no love on what I ain't watching them play. They not getting no love.
Nah, I feel that.
I can't speak on them.
That made it hard for me too, because I'm like, I can only pick people that I've watched play. That's the only thing I can do. And then I'm like, it's hard for me to take people off the list too, because I haven't seen them play. So it's like,
them dudes, man, dribbling with your hand, like the palm of your hand. Let's get off. I don't care what area you play. Get off the list, bro.
Chill.
You can't dribble and look at the ball, bro. Get off my list, bro.
Chill.
Game of ball, man. People got better. It's okay.
That was elite ball handling back then.
Yo, this is wild, bro. This is wild, bro.
That was elite ball handling. Stop.
I can go to my next one. You ain't got nothing else. No, it's wild because I had to look up his picture like that. Why the hell did DeMar DeRozan on this picture? Right? All right, so I'm gonna get into my second and last one. This is Pau Gasol. People's just hating on Pau Gasol. I don't know what the hate is about because the man did it the right way, the way that the fans said they wanted people to do it. To get franchise player, play on the same team for years and years. If you don't get enough help, then if you get traded away, it's okay. If you want to go win championships. Pau Gasol didn't ask for a trade, nothing like that. He got traded away, and we ended up winning 2 chips because of that. And he won as the number 2. And from a skill set standpoint, the man, from a big man standpoint, besides Jokic, I don't know any other bigs with that type of skill with both hands. I guess Tim Duncan, you could say. I wouldn't say Tim Duncan was a shooter, though, that either one of those players are, especially further out. But the touch with both hands, be able to catch the ball, which is such a valuable skill that Laker fans that went through Kwame Brown and Chris Mim and a couple bigs I can bring up that would just hurt my own feelings, so I won't bring
Andrew Bynum.
Bynum can catch at least. his whole thing was he just was fragile. He was like spaghetti.
Yeah, when I actually talked about Gasol earlier, and one of the first things I said was he had good hands. Surprisingly enough, man.
Wide receiver hands, bro. Like man can catch like and
Yeah.
soft hands too. Like you could throw a bullet
Yeah.
pass and you catch it. Like that's such a valuable skill that like a lot of bigs
Yeah.
just can't do. Like you see Tristan Thompson fumbling all over the ball, and like that shit's like pathetic, bro. Catch the ball.
That man had Legos for hands, bro.
It's like, yo, like your hands just like stone, bro. Like
Right.
practice catching the ball. Like you should, and it's not like you should be able to get better at that over time. I feel like you should be able to get better at that, but it don't seem like people do because they've been hooping their whole lives and they still can't catch in the league. So apparently not. But with Gasol, just the skill set with both hands, be able to finish with both hands, hook shots with both hands, in the paint. One of the best bigs in the league during his entire time. He was just kind of soft, man. There was a huge reason why we lost in 08. It's because they kind of the Celtics kind of punked us, and especially in the paint. And Garnett kind of intimidated Gasol a little bit, and which is understandable. Garnett's a wild card, crazy ass dude. So you can see and a super hood dude, like kind of a little off. Dude came out of the high school, so the dude's got some confidence in him. So KG's another legend as well. So yeah, because Saul, he did it the right way is what I should say. Is basically my point. He did it the right way, and he won 2 chips as a number 2. There's not a whole lot of players that can say that. And were franchise players before they went and did it.
Sure. Yeah, I can't argue with none of that. He didn't make my list, but again, I kind of battled with these last 2 that I had on mine, and Gasol was definitely one of the ones that I had in, took out. Everything you said is right, though. I mean, he tried it. He tried it in Memphis, but that was where he was at, right? Memphis.
Yep.
And then came in and got it done with, arguably one of the greats. So,
funny enough, he got traded for his brother.
Right.
But nobody even knows that. Well, nobody remembers that because he was just a draft pick. Fat little second round pick that we had.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like players like Paul with his size, it makes it okay for bigs in today's NBA to kind of get off like he did, because they was criticizing Paul a little bit. Back in the day, they did 7-footers to be down in the paint. He wanted them to be down in the paint battling, but put Paul in today's game, and he's in MVP talks.
Yeah, they said the same thing about Dirk, though. They wanted Dirk on the block and not to do anything else.
Dirk did that by him damn himself, though.
Yeah, that's the number one. Dirk is the man.
Level.
I don't know too many more people more deserving of that spot than Dirk. That playoff run from Dirk, to me, in my opinion, is still the best I've ever seen. It was insane. Nuts.
7 years.
Best I've ever seen, but it was nice.
I'm gonna say the best I've ever seen. It's crazy. Crazy, man.
I mean,
he probably made 100 straight free throws.
Yeah. No LeBron fans is gonna be a fan of Dirk, man.
Oh, I don't dislike
that 0-11 finals is some of the most pathetic shit I ever seen from a superstar, bro. From a superstar? Come on, bro.
I mean,
and then the arrogance at the beginning of that series. Remember, they was coughing and mocking Dirk for being sick.
Yeah. That's what made it so much better that they won, man. It really did.
I remember.
It really did.
And then the choking and the not willing to shoot the ball. But that dude on my team now. So I'm not even really allowed to say any shit I just said. So I might cut it out.
You're not. And he came back and gave us what we needed. So
yeah. And yeah, I'm not gonna we don't gotta talk about Dirk, but but with Gasol, the last thing I would say about Gasol is another guy that helped expand the game as well from an international standpoint. The man he would dominate in international ball and really got us. The USA team, those Spanish teams were wild. Those Rubio teams with
Fernandez.
Yeah, they had a bunch of dudes. Yeah, Rudy Fernandez. Yeah, they had a whole bunch.
I thought Rudy Fernandez was going to be an all-star, man. The way he started off,
he was athletic.
He was crazy.
Super athletic.
He was crazy.
Yep. All right, bro. I only got one left, so y'all can go to y'all Last one.
I think I got 2 left still, but I think one of these is going to be on everyone's list. So I'll say this one because I don't know how people feel about this one. I got Clay, mainly because I mean he can give you 30 and he can guard and maybe slow down the best team's other player too. Like he do it on both ends, and people don't realize that because, of course, like teams for the most part try to go at Curry defensively, and for that Drew will say Curry's a solid defender, like at times, but for the most part, like
he's the weakest
other teams
on
top
the floor most of the time, though, right?
Yeah, for the most part, other teams' top scorer, like Clay's going to get that assignment.
Yep,
Kyrie, and he's also likely to give you 30 on the other end. You can't put a small guard on him because he's actually got a decent post up, jump shot.
30 off no dribbles.
Yeah, I'm saying 30 off no dribbles, like just catch and shoot. And people might say, yeah, you just catching and shooting because Curry's getting them open and blah 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 blah. But he's excellent, obviously, without the ball. Movement without the ball, and I like that he can defend too. Like some people there's a lot of one-way players, maybe not on the list, but there's a lot of one-way players out there, and he does it on both ends. So
he lead on both ends of the floor.
Yep, and not like we said earlier. Like obviously, steals and blocks are stats that help build your case towards getting Defensive Player of the Year, but you want players that could just guard and get stops.
It's not what you teach. You don't teach that. You don't teach.
Yeah, exactly.
Teach them to contest and get a miss. Yeah.
Yep. Solid defender, elite shooter.
He's one of the greatest shooters ever. Top 3 ever. Like, that's what makes this why he deserves to be on the
crazy
list.
Shooter, man. Crazy shooter.
Arguably, he's number 2 behind Curry.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Between the two of them, they got like the most threes made in a game, right? The record for whatever.
I mean, they have to. They have to.
They do.
He doesn't do it much off the bounce, I would say. So I could see why some people will probably give it number 2 best shooter ever to maybe somebody like a Reggie or Steve Nash or somebody like that could also shoot off the bounce, like knockdown shooter off the bounce. But I mean, just pure.
I mean, I like the fact that he doesn't waste so many dribbles, though. You know what I mean? Like you can cut down the turnovers. Like you can give the ball to him late in the clock, and he can shoot a 3, or he can. I mean, he's got a little bit of the one.
He got a little bit. You know
what I mean? He got a little bit of game to get him to the mid-range. But it's really like who's guarding him. You know what I mean? Because if you have a smaller guard on him, he can kill the smaller guard. But if it's an even matchup, like he's gonna have to work a little bit to score, then he need to be coming off screens or whatnot.
No ball handling drills, man. Like that's not his thing.
That's not his thing. But
like I said, you shoot like he do.
You know,
little pump, 1-2 dribble.
Yeah, little pump, dribble, pull. Exactly, and he got that in his game. Like he's not the type that's gonna break you down one-on-one, but like just the man can score whatever.
Yeah,
he score a ton of points.
I had this dude on my list for a while actually, but I actually was talked out of it because someone made a good point to me, and I can't debate this. We don't know if Clay could do this on his own as a franchise player, as a lead dog. We don't know if he was a lead dog and the whole team was focused on him, if he would look like a Jason Capono type offensive player. Basically, you can't take away certain things, and then we don't know that because we ain't never seen him carry a team. So I can't make him a certified player if you've never even been a franchise player. It's hard for me to do that when you haven't been a franchise player. You've never been a number 1, so it's hard for me to make you.
Is it something about being a number 2 on a winning team or a franchise player on a team that's not winning no games?
Yeah, because that brings me to that Devin Booker kind of thing. Because before Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton got there, Booker was putting up points, but it didn't matter because they weren't winning any games. You know what I mean? Now you're hearing Booker all the time because the Suns are winning games.
And they lost him for 70.
Their team got way better though. Like
Say what? Yeah, they lost when he scored 7. Exactly. Like
they got a lot. They got a.
Well, yeah, they got it. They got a team now, but somebody like Booker, like say they win the championship in the next 2 seasons or something, say they're able to pull it off, like his name starts getting put up there. But if they would have never like made the changes to their team, he would have just been another player that's just scoring a lot of points. Yeah, and that could have been Clay. But
that's what I'm saying. I don't know if that could be Clay. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that could be Clay. I don't think Clay could do what Booker does as the number one guy. I don't think he could do that. I think you got to set. I think you got to set up. I think you got to set up an offense around him because he doesn't have the one-on-one game. But I think he can still produce. Like, yeah, I mean,
he's going to produce. He's going to get numbers on any team. They're probably more because he's on the Warriors and their offense is so fluid and they actually move the ball. But it's like, say you put Clay on the Spurs a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
It really just depends on how many shots he gets. Like, and he will get a lot of shots because Popovich's gonna make it happen. You know what I mean? Like he got Danny Green shots. So Clay's gonna get shots.
yeah. And
you know what I mean?
It's okay to be a guy that scores mostly off of off ball catch and shoot, because Reggie and I'll say this, Ray did that during the second act. But Ray on the Bucks could ball handle and could break you down. Like he was a bucket with the ball in his hand before he became mostly just a catch guy, even though he was a catch guy that was a damn near franchise player in the second act of his career for some of the teams that he went to before he went ring chasing.
The hypothetical ones, though, it's like it's hard. It's like I almost try to leave those out because it's just like when we were talking about Lillard and Tony Parker. It's like, okay, people say my boss actually said if you switched Lillard and Tony Parker, the Spurs might have won more championships. And I'm like,
I don't
know.
I don't think that's.
I don't know.
They're definitely not losing. They're not winning less. If David Lillard's on that team with Ginobili and the Tim Duncan, they definitely not losing.
But you got to think about what that team needed. You got to think about what that team needed.
Exactly,
that Spurs team didn't need Lillard.
Lillard would have came off the bench and Ginobili would have started with Duncan. That would have been perfectly fine. Because Lillard didn't play no defense, at all, and still don't play no defense. So at least Tony gave effort. Tony was and he understood off ball defense, and positioning and rotating.
He was also a one-man fast break, which Lillard doesn't really do.
He a one-man fast break for the 3-ball. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Tony Parker was he was ridiculous when he was in his prime. He literally just got the ball and was just gone.
But even both of those guys, I see the skill set. They have the skill set to be a number one. I don't know.
Y'all remember Tony Parker's spin move?
Yeah, bro.
His spin move was deadly, man. His spin move was crazy. Wow. I was in the gym trying to learn it.
I don't know. It could be a top 3 spin move.
That spin move was lethal, man.
Right there with Dwayne Wade's
lethal.
Wade did have a nasty spin move.
Dwayne could dunk off his it was not crazy. Dwayne Wade's games and
Parker's spin move was crazy.
Yeah, it
too.
Was yeah, I remember that thing was you can't. That's just athleticism. You can't. I tried to imitate that. That's not something you can imitate like that.
Oh yeah.
Especially even that floater, man, because the way he did the floater, where he if the floater came from low, and then it was it's it wasn't like he it was up here, and then it was right where you at, and then you get close to you there, and you just watch the ball go up and down.
He perfected the floater how they teach you not to shoot the floater.
Exactly. Yeah. He was low, and then he would be pushing it, and it was just so soft that it's just it was automatic, bro.
He stopped doing it later on and just stuck with the mid-range jumper too.
He just didn't want to drive.
A little tougher for him to get to the paint after a while.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm okay with Clay being 75. I just don't know if a guy that hasn't been a franchise player, and if I can't picture you being a franchise player, then it's kind of hard for me to put you as one of the top guys ever.
Dennis Rodman on this list.
Yeah, that was another one. I was like,
I didn't put Dennis on the list though, so.
Yeah, but he's on the top 75.
Okay, he's on the top 75.
I'm saying I didn't put him on the top 75 list.
Fair enough.
I'm not saying he shouldn't be on it. I'm just saying I didn't put him on that list.
Fair enough.
Who you got, Tony?
All right, I still got two more. Since we're talking about the Spurs, I got Manu in my 75.
I can't fight you over that. I love the Spurs.
I mean, 4 rings, 6 man of the year at some point. I don't remember what year. I think he probably not getting the nod because he did come off the bench, but he was a heavy contributor. He carried the Spurs in quite a few of those games on that dynasty run of, those four chips, but those 3 chips over the course of what? They won 3 and 5. Spurs 3 and 5 and 3 and 6.
I can't remember.
Somewhere in there because they was winning.
Sure it was 3 and 6 because I don't remember any backs.
No, they didn't go back to back. So yeah, it must have been 3 and 6. But I mean, I think
I know exactly what it is. I ain't gonna whatever.
Oh, you remember? Okay,
I do. I know. I remember. I could give the years, but no, they not nothing. Whatever.
Yeah, but I got Mono in there, and if you talk about people who've impacted the game, I mean, this Euro step that we see people doing now.
Yeah,
you might want to call it a travel, whatever. You can debate
Ginobili, boy.
That's not a travel though.
I'm saying you can debate. People can debate it in the barbershop if they want to. Yeah. All I'm saying is he brought something like that to the game that people hadn't really seen before, at least seen on a consistent basis. And you got 5 and 6 year olds trying to perfect that thing now. So, and I think on a different team, Manu's starting and he cooking.
Yeah. I mean, he was good enough. He was good enough to start for the Spurs. Like, there's no doubt about that. Like, he was way better than whoever they had at 2.
He was a starter though. He played starter minutes.
He was a starter.
Game, so you're a starter.
Yeah, he was a big time closer, and it was just like Drew said when he switched to the high pick and roll. Like, that's all Ginobili did. Ginobili would dribble the ball back to almost half court and run a high pick and roll from there, and there would be so much space that he just did whatever he wanted.
Straight downhill drive.
Yep, downhill. He just did whatever he wanted. I loved watching it. I loved watching him. Like, how do you stop this man? Because he's doing the same exact thing.
Yoking on dudes.
Sneaky bounce.
The clutch, the clutch gene, that's another. Dude had the clutch.
Because he'll hit the step back 3. He'll hit the step back 3 on you too. Yeah, he's ridiculous.
That man was demoralized LeBron, bro. Demoralized. Some of the shots, he just demoralized him. Like, it was, man, Ginobili.
He was insane. He was insane, man. He was the offense off the bench. He was it.
And he's a guy, never a franchise guy, really, but there were, I would say, maybe 1 or 2 years where him and Tony were the best players on the team. Now, I would say that Ginobili might have been the best player on the team one of those years. So I would say that year he was the franchise player. The number 1 guy. So that, to me, that counts for me. That's why I don't, as long as I've seen you as being the number 1 guy, then that's enough, especially if you do it for a whole season.
Yeah, because I mean, he was their clutch shooter before Kawhi and other people walked in. Like, he was the guy. Like, if they needed a big 3, like, Ginobili was the one that was getting the shot, and he was knocking them down. So
no slouch on the other end either.
No.
Especially off ball.
Crazy hustle off ball, playing passing lanes and whatnot, which sometimes overrated, but yeah.
Rotations, understood the game. Another foreign player that they just teach them the game the right way over there.
Yeah, respect for Pop for sure. Respect for Pop, because this year, dang, I can't even think of his name right now. But the point guard for the Spurs, he's an all-star. He ain't have no business. Murray, he ain't have no business being an all-star. If you look at him like a couple years ago, because he had no jump shot, and he was basically known for defense. Like, you don't just play defense and make yourself an all-star. And I mean, I think Pop's just got a way of developing players, because Kawhi wasn't all that when he first came to the Spurs. Like, Tony Parker, obviously Tim Duncan and David Robinson is a different story. Like, they've been beasts. But the other players, it's just like, okay, Pop's got you in the system. Tiago Splitter. But he was actually a serviceable player under Pop, which is crazy. Which is wild, man. But yeah, man. Ginobili's a good shout for sure. And the only reason I didn't have him on my list is because I was like, okay, he technically was a 6-man, but y'all made the argument. He did play starter minutes. He was a closer. So
6 man don't mean nothing when you play starter minutes. So
yeah.
I mean, I got. How many you got left?
Just one.
You got one left. You got one left.
I got one left.
All right, I guess I can go. I don't want to take. I guess I'll go through mine. So mine should be no shock. We've actually talked about this guy plenty. I told you that AI cooked this man in the playoffs, but bygones is bygones. My number one snub is Vincanity, of course. First things, the greatest dunker in the history of the NBA. No way in hell that nigga's not in the top 75. Just off that, okay, simply off that, just being the greatest dunker in the history. In-game dunk contest, whatever you want, the best dunker. Period. All right. My other reason why is obviously this man was a franchise player for 2 franchises. So he had two Hall of Fame careers, you could say, in Toronto and in New Jersey. And this man played for like a million years because he adjusted his game to the fact where he became a role player, knockdown perimeter 3-point shooter in his second act of his career. And then raked the dollars in for how many 20 plus years that he played. Vince Carter, he's, in my opinion, I don't know what the argument would be. I guess rings. Obviously, he didn't ring chase, so he didn't get no rings. And he played in Kobe's era as well, so he wasn't gonna win no rings. But he, he literally, I mean, he was the man for 2 franchises. He did what he could. He just couldn't win it all. And sometimes you're just not on the best team to win it all, and that's fine. But he's for me, he's number 4, fourth best shooting guard ever, behind obviously Jordan, Kobe, Wade, and then Vince Carter is number 4. And I don't really know what the argument is for anybody else besides a championship, which whatever. But yeah. And I only said Jordan first because, I ain't trying to get crucified, but Kobe's the GOAT.
Yeah, I had Vince was my last one too. I think one other piece that you left out is, I mean, he had a whole country behind him when he was with Toronto.
Yeah.
Plenty of people that don't play for Toronto that don't rock with people like they rock with Vince. But like you said, carried a franchise, 2. He had more help in New Jersey. They didn't get it done, but he had more help in New Jersey.
Sure.
But man, I don't disagree with nothing you said. Vince, hell, we 75 years in the NBA. This motherfucker done played 22 of them.
Yeah, I think he came back. He's still playing.
That's enough. He's top 20 in scoring. I mean, what we doing? How does he get left? How does somebody like him?
Just rings. It's just rings. It's got to be rings, bro.
But it's people on there still playing with no rings.
Lillard.
Dame is on there. Dame's my guy, but over Vince, 22 years in the league. Like I told Dre yesterday, Dame was scratching and clawing to get on a couple of all-star teams early on.
Yeah, and that's because that point guard spot was just tough.
Sure, maybe,
but still, yeah.
Vince played in the era with solid 2s.
Yep.
He played against all the best 2s. He was the end of Jordan's era, but obviously Jordan was older, so he came in 90s, 98. So I mean, he played against all the greats, all the best 2s. So if you want to see how he stacked up against those dudes, you got tape to see against every shooting guard that ever played in his era. Obviously number 4. I mean, the guys that are above him head to head were beating him. That's why they're above him. Only reason why. And Jordan was damn near old as hell by that time, so he never really was beating Vince. So come on, man. I don't even know. To me, even if he didn't play 20 years, just playing 10 and then the dunk contest and being the best dunker in the history of the sport,
man, he cleared a man in the Olympics.
I don't even understand, jump over 7-footer yet. Come on.
Right.
Yeah, that's impressive. But
that 2000 dunk contest, is there any comparison to that dunk contest?
Yeah.
Which one?
I think they're gonna either
Levine and Gordon.
Oh yeah, that was
talking
crazy.
about the Vince performance. I'm not talking about the whole contest. Yeah, I'm not talking
Levine and Gordon.
Nah, I'm not. There's no way. Those 3 dunks by Vince especially because they had never been done before.
None of the dunks that Levine and Gordon did 20 years later.
What you mean? Which dunk did he do that besides the underneath the legs? I don't remember a dunk that hadn't been done.
Well, now with the props jumping over the bear on skates. Come on, now go back and watch
jumping off. I would get Aaron Gordon. I'll give you Aaron Gordon, but Levine,
Levine was doing the James White.
He didn't do nothing that wasn't done.
Levine was doing the James White.
Did the same shit. He did the same shit.
James White.
Vince Carter did reverse windmill what a reverse 360.
Yeah, it was a reverse.
Fuck. No one does that. No one did that. I never even seen it.
It was cool for the time.
No one even seen that. And then put your arm in the rim. That was on the video game for like 10 years after that.
Yeah, but
that shit was kind of corny. But like, put your elbow in. Like, come on, man. Like,
I can't use that in the argument for NBA top 25 though. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like
part of basketball.
I feel like there's certain things. Okay,
dunk contest is part of the game. Like, that's just still a award you get. Like, that's a real thing. Like, dunk contests matter too. Like, it's an award. 3-point shot.
Shit. Like, Nate Robb in the top 75, and he got 3.
How does
he had no career?
That's not
he
relevant.
had a career.
That's not
he had no career. If he had a career,
that's not relevant in the NBA top 75 because I feel like it doesn't. Like,
why?
It's just not. It's not. Like, you can have the best dunker in the world and they could just jump on an NBA team just at the end of their roster, and you would use the fact that they can dunk better than everyone else as a way to
Are they a better player?
NBA top 75.
Are they a better player? Vince Carter is a top 4 player.
I know, but you can't.
Top 4 shooting guard, and he's the best dunker ever. Just like all right, like this with Clay. Just like with Clay. Just being able to best shooter ever, like one of the best shooters ever, I count that. Now, if Clay was one of the best shooters ever and he didn't put up the numbers he did, then I wouldn't count it. But Vince Carter did it and then also did it in games. So it's not just the fact that he was a dunker in a dunk contest. This man was dunking on people. Like, that stuff matters when you think about players
in the game, though. But I'm saying,
that's what
I'm saying, though. Like, but the dunk contest, as far as this, is not relevant. You know what I mean? Because, like, if somebody wins a 3-point contest, like Karl Anthony Towns, that shouldn't help his argument.
I don't know about you, but I hold the
being in the top 25.
I hold that shit against LeBron.
That's what you're saying. Like,
I do. I hold that shit against LeBron that he never did it. Like, yo, why didn't you do that? Like, even Kobe, who wasn't like.
That's crazy. Like, I guess everybody have criteria.
You gotta have guts. You could tell that there's not a whole lot of people that have the guts to do the dunk contest because they're afraid they're gonna get embarrassed. They're gonna miss. We just seen why niggas don't do the dunk contest. It's because there's pressure. They can't handle the pressure. Like, the dunk contest is.
Then if you can't handle the pressure, don't dunk into him.
Right. That to me that shit counts. All that shit counts. We're talking about the best basketball players.
I'll say
this. Talking about the best players in the 48 minutes game.
I'll say this.
You know what? Let me jump back and change my answers and look up who won the skills challenges. Then
that ain't what
I need to add that to my resume. That's where we're at. That's what we got. That's not what he's saying right now.
What he's saying is it don't hurt his case.
Dunking is a skill that happens during the game. Like, the skill contest is not like something that happens at, like, dunking is like
you pass during the game.
You don't pass through rings in the game, though. Like, you got to pass the moving targets.
You don't. But hey, you also don't travel on any of the dunks that you do.
I mean, Vince Carter.
You also don't always have a clear lane when you're going through your dunks.
Fast breaks. We see it. I definitely count dunk contest when I'm talking about how great of a player it was. Especially if I'm gonna. I'm
just talking about how I just don't think that adds any value to your being in the NBA top 7.
It don't hurt it. In Vince's case,
I don't see why.
Vince's case, it don't hurt.
In Vince's case, it don't hurt it.
I don't see why it would. It's a contest in this. I don't remember this. I don't remember the top 75.
We need to add it to. We need to add it to Dwight too. That's adding to Dwight.
Yeah. Dwight get credit for the dunk. That shit was, and he big as fuck too, being sexy and to be able to do dunks. I ain't never seen the tap it off the. These are memories I'll never forget. The tap it off the rim in the air and then catch it with the other hand to dunk. Like, that dunk contest was wild. Like, yeah, Dwight gets he gets credit for that.
Yeah.
That counts.
It don't hurt.
His resume.
It don't put you, it don't land you in the 75, but it don't hurt your case either.
Just like Curry's, all Curry's 3-point jams, them bitches count, and that's another reason why I tell people, you want to argue who's the best shooter? He's the best shooter in the gym practicing. He's the best shooter in the contest. Any version of shooting, he's the best shooter ever. Yeah. You know,
that's fair.
Who's y'all number ones? Unless y'all got something to say about Vince, man.
Nah, I got through all of mine. I was right there with you with Vince on the last one.
My last one was Kyrie, just because I just think he's the most skilled point guard probably I've ever seen. So he was my last one. I don't have no argument with Vince. Like, I get it. He's played for like 30 years. He's got all these points, but Kyrie was my last one. And yeah, I just think he does things with the basketball. He's kind of like almost like another Iverson, to where he just does things with the ball that is just like, it's unreal. How is he doing this stuff? He can score at all levels. He probably isn't a true point guard, and that might hurt him. Why Chris Paul might edge him and stuff like that on this list, because he doesn't get the assist or anything like that. I don't think he's ever been known for his defense, but
he can defend. Kyrie
okay, well,
you saw the other night. He can defend, man. Kyrie can defend, man, when he wants to.
Like I said,
it's all about.
I just said he hasn't been known for his defense. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Yeah, but not a bad defender.
But offensively, like, there's not many people that have a bag like Kyrie. Like, Curry's gonna score more points coming off screens, and he's got the handle too. But Kyrie, I feel like if you need a basket, like, the man just seems unguardable at times. So I'm just leave it at that.
We have identified the Zoom issue. That shit is happening to me now too. They changed their whole shit up. That's why the Zoom's fucked up.
Yeah, 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah. I knew some shit was up, bro. I knew some shit was up while Zoom been fucking up. Like, they fucked their whole shit up. All right.
Yeah. All right. No, they're just trying to make money. They're just trying to make money like everybody else.
We'll find something else.
They try to get paid.
We'll see. I might call the people up anyway. I'm talking tough. Anyway, Kyrie, man, you already know. I mean, I can go on Kyrie for hours.
Yeah, I was surprised Kyrie wasn't on your list.
Kyrie wasn't gonna make my list. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you why he's not gonna. Because one, just the fact that he's an active player, not likely he was gonna make my list. But I would say the reason why Kyrie not making my list because of the past couple years. Now, it's because it's like the certain things he's done, like try to be a franchise player in Boston, basically made that team worse. Then the next year they were basically the same as they were 2 years before, and then ends up leaving. I ain't mad at that, leave Boston, but he leaves there. Then he's out in Now he's out in Brooklyn. We already know that story. He just has been a team cancer obliterator lately. This man was my favorite player probably for like 5-10 years. And I agree with you, he is the most skilled basketball player. He's the most skilled basketball player I've ever seen. And the combination of a handle and jumper and footwork and being a 3-level scorer and post game on top of the 3-level scorer, like, there's literally nothing the man can't do. He's Kobe mixed with AI, mixed with Marbury, mixed with, it's just like just a little bit of everything,
I think he's one of those players that we should have been put in like back and forth with Tony Parker, because Kyrie Irving with the Spurs probably doesn't work with the Spurs when they were winning.
Pop make it work. Pop make that shit work.
Well, Pop's a great coach, but I don't know if that works, because can Kyrie hit it? Can Kyrie hit a spot up jump shot? Sure, but that's not his game. You know what I mean? Ginobili will run the pick and roll. He'll make the right pass. He'll hit an open jump shot. Tony Parker will run the pick and roll, make the right pass, hit his open 2-point shot or whatever he's got to do, hit his floater. But I don't know. It's like it's just like he's a similar player to Lillard, like where they got to dominate the ball to be their most effective. Like they're not great off the ball players. That's not.
Yeah, I don't know. Kyrie's. That's not. I don't know if that applies. Kyrie can play off ball. We've seen it with LeBron, with KD. Like the man can play off ball. Like he's a knockdown catch and shoot guy. So he can play off ball. He can play on ball. It don't matter. I don't think that. I think the biggest issue with Kyrie, what you're talking about with the Spurs, is that man doesn't fit into no system. Like he ain't trying to. He's trying to do his own thing. Now he can, like, if you make him, like, if you got a leader on the team that will tell him, yo, you need to do this, like a LeBron type, then he'll swallow the pride and do whatever he got to do. But I just don't. I think that with Pop ain't trying to hear that shit. Like Pop they would have issues like the same way Kawhi had issues with Pop, but wasn't like the speaker, like he wasn't the loud type. Kyrie, I think they would just bump heads, like, but. For winning, I think Kyrie would make it work. But I don't think it's not a skill set issue. It's about, is Kyrie willing to sacrifice defense, do all the things he's supposed to do that a coach wants him to do to win. We don't know if that's the case yet. We'll see.
We won't see.
I mean, we'll see.
He ain't gonna play for Pop.
Anyway, we about to end off, Tony. Your last points, bro.
Nah. For the sake of time, I got nothing else. But I appreciate y'all having me on, though.
For sure, man. All right, man. We out, y'all.
All right, y'all. Have a good night.
All right, peace.
All right, one.